Hello, my dear Sagittarius. Welcome to Mind, Body, and Heart Tarot Therapy. I'm here to do the reading for the month of August 2019. So, Sagittarius, I pre-shuffled your cards. I hope you are well. I hope you survived this crazy July. Alright, let's see how we're gonna do this. Now, let's see what we have for the month of July. So this is a general reading for Sun, Moon, and Rising sign Sagittarius, month of August. If it resonates, and if it doesn't, then it just doesn't. It means it's not your reading. Do not try to fit it in. All right. That being said, let's see what do we have for Sagittarius. All right. So we have the Nine of Pentacles as your current energy. Not bad. What's your challenge, Sagittarius? Let's see what's coming into this challenge position. Of course. Blunt. These two guys. Knight of Wands is Sagittarius energy. The Knight of Swords is Gemini, but it's not get stuck into the signs. That's not it. It's very interesting that as your challenge position is the Knight of Wands though. And the Knight of Swords has to do with blunt communication, which you are known for. Okay, what is the advice? What is the advice from Tarot for Sagittarius for the month of August? Wow, this is your advice. Okay. All right, and bottom of the deck, my dear, you have the Empress. And the Ace of Wands really wanted to show its face because it was literally like that. So we're gonna read it together. All right, now let's see. I'm just gonna shuffle here. Actually, no, let's do it here. It is more comfortable. So we're clarifying these cards. You have Justice with the Nine of Pentacles. How very interesting. I see how these are mirrored. See, this is the first thing I noticed. This is a 9, so the 1 and the 10, and it's an 11. Okay. What do we have? No way, I'm not reading all these. Okay, what is in your challenge position along with the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Wands? You saw that. You saw what flipped over. Okay. So this is part of your challenge position. Okay, I get it. And what is your advice? It just turned over. My goodness, like seriously, this can't be more clear. They're so supporting each other. I'm gonna pull out one more card for this though. Whoa, but later. Let's do the Fool. Jesus. Okay, Sagittarius. So this is your underlying energy. This is beautiful energy. Really, really beautiful. It's the Empress. It's Venus in Taurus. It's when you are like really, really grounded and in touch with yourself, in touch with your body, in touch with your creativity. And there you go. It comes with the Ace of Wands and with the Fool. So you are at the brink of something new. And I think that something new comes from this state of being the Empress, being in a position where you're not charging forward, you're not looking backwards, you're in the present, you're in the now, and you're patient, you allow for the crops to grow, you're sitting like really, really within your own power. And that's what's going to enable this completely new beginning, which will require some faith. It will require a leap of faith, right? It's not easy, but you know what, Sagittarius, from all the signs, you are able to take that leap of faith a little bit easier than others, because you're the adventurer anyway. There's always gonna need some sort of leap of faith when you're going one of your adventures without planning forward and things like that. So I think it's not going to be particularly difficult for you to embody this full energy archetype. This might be a little bit more difficult for you, and this is what you're trying to achieve right now. This is your theme, right? This is your underlying energy. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful. You're learning from your own experience what it means to attract rather than push or chase or accomplish. It's more about like really sitting within your own power without struggling, without trying anything. Just be. Learning to just be in loving kindness. And there you go. Complete new cycle starting in. We're getting there though. Alright. Well, let's just put these two together as they were. Alright, and your current energy, you're this. Okay, in this Nine of Pentacles and Justice, right? And the Nine of Pentacles, it's somebody who's like worked really, really hard to get where that person is right now. This lady's been like got here not because she was born in a like this rich and everything. She worked hard, and she owns herself. She owns her abundance. By the way, this a card of abundance as well. So there seems to be abundance in your life. You are in an abundant energy right now, and it's important for you to recognize this. It's important for you to see this for what it is. It's also important to know that this lady got where she is also because she tamed her impulses. She learned how to respond rather than to react, the same way that she tamed this bird here, you know. It's something that, like, when you tame a wild creature, you're not trying to be the boss of it. You're not trying to force it to do anything. It's just not going to do it. With birds is a little bit different though, because it's got that blindfold, right? This is how you like tame wild eagle or something. You put this blindfold on them, and I feel it's a cruel process. So maybe that's a hint though that this came up, you know. Maybe this is a hint that you may want to go a little bit deeper with the taming and actually become friends with that part of you that you're trying to tame. Anyway, she's got this far. She's got this animal side of herself, a little bit blindfolded here, but it's obedient at least. And let's see with the justice here. Maybe that's it. Maybe you gotta. It is time for justice for this little bird here, for the wild side of you to come out and explore the world and have. You know, I keep thinking of the strength card where there's the lady with the lion, you know, and there's no power struggle there. It's not like here, this lady seems to have power over this bird, right? Because she's got this, it's blindfolded. But with the lion, the lady with the lion in the strength, she's really just using her vulnerability and friendliness, and it's a relationship with the lion. Here it's more of a power relationship. So maybe it's time to bring justice on that. What is it that you're trying to take power of within yourself? Which parts of yourself have you been managing in this manner of being rather, I don't know how to call it, more like not on an equal manner, sort of like you don't show up, and you show up only when I tell you to show up, and you're gonna show up like this, otherwise you're gonna be stuck in the basement to your inner child or to parts of you that you didn't really accept because they would put you, they would compromise you one way or another. I hope that makes sense. And with the justice card here, I think it's time for you to acknowledge this part of you. You are in your power right now. You are within your strength. You have a lot of abundance. You're learning how to be more kind with this Empress here. So it's time to be a little bit more kind with this part of yourself, which you learned to train, but now it's time to befriend, you know? It's not about training anymore, it's about befriending. You have everything you need. And justice is here to tell you that this is going to happen, want it or not. This part of you is going to have its own expression, and it needs to come forward. It's a sort of a karmic aspect. It's dealing with something from your karmic contract, from your, it can be from past lives, it can be from your this life, but from your early childhood or past. But you are here, you're coping with this right now in your challenge position, where you have the Knight of Swords with the Knight of Wands, so with the Seven of Wands. So I feel like, to be honest, usually I put this towards some other people, but in this case, I feel it's really very internal. I think the communication that you have internally with yourself, within yourself, with different aspects of yourself, is very important right now. And you may be observing that you are very, very harsh with yourself. Yes, you're uncovering the truth. Yes, you are like trying to be honest with yourself and trying to really, really go for what matters. The trouble is with the Knight of Swords, you may be really, really blunt, really, really critical, really, really harsh on yourself in that inner communication. And with the Knight of Wands here, well, you may be actually having troubles being yourself, being in your own energy. This is your challenge position, right? And these two, they can work well together, but if they're going in an inner clash, well, it's not good. Anyway, they're going both in the same position. They're going from the right to the left. So I think it has to do with going within, going into your, the left side is usually significant of your feminine, of your subconscious, of your inner landscape. You're going out there, but the way you're going in there, sorry, not out there, but in there, it's very, very like, yeah, we're gonna solve this, we're gonna make this happen. Tudum, 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 tudum. You part of me that I don't like nor want nor accept, you're gonna do what I say, or you're going to be blindfolded forever, and I'm not gonna feed you and stuff like that. And it may be also very, very harsh in, yeah, as I said, in your inner language, like on for fuck's sake, if I talk to myself, when I talk to myself, it's very important that I talk to those parts of me that are resistant, those parts of me that are afraid, those parts of me that act out in a tantrum. It's important to talk to them as if I was talking with a 4 years old child. So if I started and like belittle myself and being harsh of myself, like, look at you, what the fuck have you been doing? Oh yes, of course, you wanna do this and you wanna do that. Well, no way, that's bullshit. You're bullshitting me. Talking like this inner dialogue, or being critical, like, look what you're doing this. Why are you doing that? Why are you so slow? Why are you so lazy? Why are you eating this or that? Or, I don't know, things like this. But if we're talking like this to ourselves, we're just gonna get resistance. That part of us that is trying to make contact, is trying to tell us that it needs healing and attention and love and acceptance. That's why it's acting out, because it's been neglected, because it's been forever since it remembers itself being stuck in the basement, in the subconscious mind. It's been treated like a wild part that we just don't know how to deal with it. And it's been trained to act and react in certain ways, but it hasn't been acknowledged and loved and accepted. And it's your duty right now to bring justice to that part of yourself. And if you don't want to have a resistance within yourself, you shouldn't act in such a harsh way to yourself and talk to yourself in that manner, or push yourself too hard and too much. Be gentle. You gotta be really, really gentle. Otherwise, just gonna be conflict here. Look at how these guys are like coming here. Your rational mind and your passion and your excitement, and the part of you that's thirsty for adventure and for experience. They're coming in and they're going to this part of you. Let's call it the inner child, which feels frozen, which feels blocked, which feels abandoned, which feels the way it feels. The one that you've been trying to shut down forever. And they're coming with all these like warlike attitude, of course this part of you will just gonna act out, is going to defend itself, is going to be resistance, is going to act in a tantrum and do worse and worse and worse things rather than being accepted. So what's your inner dialogue, what's your inner attitude, what's the way, even like if you practice some sort of spirituality, which how you are going about that. If for example all the spiritual work that you're doing, all your practices, all your meditation is about overcoming periods of pain, or like shutting down that inner voice that's screaming within you and just not hearing and wanting to change the experience, wanting to change yourself, wanting to change, then if that's your focus, then it's constantly dismissing and denying a part of yourself. What we need is integration. What we need is acceptance. It all happens through acceptance. Otherwise, we get resistance, we get more split inside, and we bypass the shit out of everything. We just like the part of us that we persecute within ourselves just goes into hiding, and the deeper it goes into hiding, into the shadow, the more fucked up shit it can do, and for good reason. Like look at a person's life, for example, living in childhood, they've been treated like shit when they are as they grow up, adolescents, they just start doing a lot of crap, like rebel and I don't know, do drugs, get into fights, commit all kinds of crimes. It's the same with like our inner child. If we persecute it, if we treat it like bad because we just don't know how to deal with it, and it's understandable. Also, we emulate the behaviors that we learned from our caretakers and from our teachers and from the people within our lives that we learn from. And if the people within our lives that we learned from, that we somehow, whether we wanted or not, created some sort of role model behavior for us, we had been treating us like that, even though at the moment we knew we didn't like it, we somehow started doing the same. We're just copying behavior. We're like monkeys when we were kids, and that 4-year-old child gets stuck in that mind of doing whatever it was doing when it was rejected, and then the other part of you gets stuck into the persecutor, into the educator that goes in, don't do this, don't show up, hide, I'm gonna hide in the basement because I'm ashamed of you. And you know what, this is it, this is your advice. Let it go, let the transformation, let that part of you that's been resistant to feeling, to uncovering, to let it die. Let the persecutor, like, you know what, the persecutor itself is also somebody who's just trying to protect you, that part of you, only that these dynamics needs to go, the death needs to happen, and it will happen. It does come as advice though, so I think you need to cooperate here, because the more you push it away, the more you're like resisting into going into your inner underworld here, and start like listening to the voices that you've been silencing your entire life. The more you will act in automatic responses and not from awareness. This is what it does here, is not you, it's those automatic responses, those voices that just come and act in certain ways. These dynamics are what dies, and does feel uncomfortable, of course, and death is scary as fuck, but this is like minor arcana death, this is my major arcana death, so this is happening whether you want it or not. And it's good, it's great, it's so good, because this is what is going to enable you to be here. It's a circle, it's always a circle. Time is not exactly how we understand it. Time is very, very different. The thing is, like, you are able to do this by staying grounded, by by allowing this leap of faith, by trusting your process. Trusting the process, trusting the wisdom of your body, trusting the wisdom of unconditional love, trusting the wisdom of your heart. You will be able to go through this. You will be able to see these guys only because you slow down. You will be able to see these dynamics here of attack, defense, abuser, victim, whatever kind of dynamics you have within that, it's not gentle. You will be able to see it because you're slowing down, because you're coming into this Empress energy, because you're um, allowing yourself to see this from the observer point of view, because you're taking the leap of faith, and because you're opening yourself up to something new, new knowledge, new understanding, new it's almost some sort of like small enlightenment there, you know. It's a small awakening that's happening to you right now, and you are able to go through this because of this. You have what you need. You have the support, you have the understanding and the knowledge of the loving kindness and of the heart and of the nature of the universe, really, to be able to hold space for yourself, to allow this major and minor arcana death to happen. And as this happens, you're just gonna grow even more into this. You're gonna be more grounded, you're gonna be more aware, you're gonna be more closer to love, closer to that's going to start a new cycle, a whole new cycle. So it's a beginning and an end here. It's the beginning of the end that takes you to a new beginning. I hope that makes sense to you, Sagittarius. But this is absolutely wonderful. You want this to happen. You want this with everything within you, because you know, carrying always this little gremlin on our shoulders telling us, oh, look what you're doing, blah, 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 blah. Like always criticizing, always being incredibly harsh, and always telling us that we're gonna fail and we're good for nothing and we should just go in hiding or whatever. Not necessarily to our conscious mind, but to the aspects of ourselves that we don't like, or we bully sometimes and make fun of. We want to see it, and we want to allow for that dynamics to go, and it will go only through being gentle, being truly gentle. First observe, second don't judge. Don't judge yourself for having any of these dynamics. These guys have their own reasons to come in this, like, with so much anger. Who knows what bullshit this part of me had been doing, constantly sabotaging me, you know. But then this part is sabotaging me because it needs damn attention. He's like, dude, I've been here for ages and I'm starving and I've never seen the light of day. I will force myself out of here unless you know, this bird is going to rebel unless it start having a little bit of freedom, or it's gonna act like that forever, and that's a pity. Have the courage to come out, and I think you do, and I think you really do have the courage, and have the courage to allow this to happen. You have the groundedness and the support that you need, that you can muster for yourself, within yourself. You came to understand how you literally reparenting yourself here, and you came to understand that this only happens from a place of love and kindness. Anything else, and compassion for these guys, compassion for these guys as well, compassion for this position that looks fantastic, and yet there's some dark side to it, right? Compassion for yourself as you go through this death here. Don't be like, oh, I'm so happy to get rid of this part of me finally, yeah, blah 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 blah. Sorry. It's more like everything needs to be done with gentleness and compassion, otherwise it's not done. Otherwise it's not, and forgiveness, you know, otherwise it's not done. Otherwise it's just gonna come back to you in your next cycle, hitting you even harder than it did this cycle. Whatever it is that you're dealing with, whatever, you know, dynamics you had that had put you in this place of defensiveness, or in this place of inner conflict. All right, have faith within your process. Have faith in yourself that you are able to discern because you're grounded, and have faith within your you know, the spirit, the message from spirit that you're getting for yourself. Don't, it's not about what I'm saying here. I'm channeling, but the point is that you use your own intuition and you trust your own inner wisdom to understand the messages and the way they apply, and to get your own messages maybe with this Ace of Wands here. It's like an antenna. It's like, and it's growth. This is gonna take you in a whole new journey, and it's a beautiful one. All right, Sagittarius, I hope that makes sense to you. There's a lot going on. It may look a little bit scary, but I think you know already that you are more than able to deal with this without too much drama. Okay, it's actually almost beautiful. It's really, really beautiful in the sense that it's like a homecoming, and it's like getting parts of you that have been at war forever to make peace. So it's so beautiful, and discovering the lost part of you, that and asking for forgiveness from that part of you, and the other part of you, which it's still part, it's an integration. It's becoming a whole, instead of having this dynamics of a fight. These parts are coming together, right? They're coming together. And the three, this is the Empress is a three, is two things coming together to become something bigger, two different sides, two different parts of yourself. She's also like talking about creativity and pregnancy. Well, pregnancy doesn't need to be literal. It's more like really creating a new life for yourself here. Beautiful. Okay, Sag. This is inspiring. Thank you so much for being here with me. And if you do resonate with this reading, please like, share, and subscribe. Feel free to comment and everything. And I'll see you here next time. Have an amazing August.